Le Mans Ultimate will release its next major update, version 1.4, tomorrow on July 28. This also marks the beginning of a new series of DLCs. The first two of a total of 6 in the US track packs are Daytona and Laguna Seca. We had the opportunity to try it all out over the weekend. The changes to LMU are extensive. The braking system has been overhauled, there will be lots of online changes, and the Le Mans track also has been heavily updated. Studio 397 lists an impressive 124 changes. 124 to the track in the patch notes to reflect this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans event. These include flags, barriers, floodlights, advertisements, and buildings, among other things. However, this level of attention to detail and the positive reception of Studio 397 and their product are also contrasted in version 1.4. The introduction of a Joker system, which allows players to delete undesirable multiplayer results affecting both safety and driver ratings, has sparked controversy within the community due to concerns that it will negatively impact driving standards. But there are more patch notes with serious implications. There is a lot to discuss today, so let's dive right in. And with that, welcome back to Overtake. I'm Michel, and if you don't want to miss videos like this about major updates, whether for LMU or other sim racing titles, you should subscribe to our channel first. We also appreciate every single like and comment. Without our community, including the one on overtake.gg, we'd be nothing. If you want to be part of it and support our work further, check out the first link in the video description down below. The new tracks, which will bring the total number of tracks in the game to 20 by the end of the year. Only 7 of these are included in the base game, and with the US track pack, Studio 397 is also raising prices slightly and making some changes to the DLC structure. The DLCs no longer include cars, instead they offer 2 tracks for $19.99. Price is also shown here in pounds and euros. The US Track Pass offers a good discount if you're already sure you want all the 6 tracks. Alternatively, given the amount of content and DLC available, the Race Control Pro Plus subscription is becoming increasingly appealing if you really want to play LMU online every week. It costs $84 per year and gives you access to all DLCs as long as your subscription is active. How do you handle this if you're a regular online racer? Subscribe to Pro for the extra online features and buy all the DLCs, or skip the DLCs and use Pro Plus? Below you can see what it costs to get the full LMU experience, assuming you purchase the complete US Track Pass. Laguna Seca is one of my absolute favorite tracks, and I got to visit it in person for the first time last year, so for me the fact that it's now part of Le Mans Ultimate makes the game much better. It's also part of the IMSA calendar, so GDP/Hypercars, LMP2 and GT3 all feel right at home there. An AI race recommendation would definitely also be ELMS. After about 20 minutes, the race really heats up as GT3, LMP2 and LMP3 all come together in a multi-class showdown. The AI handles this as well as ever, and the track is a blast in single player. The scan and curbs also have been noticeably refined compared to the good old R-Factor 2, and the force feedback details are much more nuanced when it comes to the track surface and curbs. In direct comparison, you can of course see that Studio 397 has recycled content here, which naturally leaves a bit of a bad taste given the price of the DLC. However, in an interview we recently conducted with Stephen Hood, it became clear that a large portion of the costs goes toward licensing fees rather than development expenses. Ultimately though, what matters is that the track looks great and above all feels fantastic. When it comes to track limits, you should be especially careful at the exit of turn 6 onto Rahel Straight, and make sure not to overshoot the exit of the final turn, turn 11. It felt fair enough though, especially with LMU's system of how they handle the track limits. In Daytona, things look similarly positive. The comparison with R-Factor 2 holds true here as well. The curbs, especially at the bus stop, have undergone the most significant redesign and modernization. Some of the curbs feel absolutely spectacular, particularly the dogleg left turn, which you're actually supposed to avoid, almost knocks the bones out of my hands on the Sumo Cube 3. You've definitely got to try this out. Has the AI always warmed up the tires during the warm-up lap? In any case, that's very immersive. When driving slowly, you can also feel how the car is pulled down by the banking, which is a nice detail. In Daytona too, the AI consistency matches the rest of the tracks of the game very well. I usually set the AI strength to 97% and start from the middle of the pack in my class. This leads to some great battles and is forgiving of minor mistakes. The multi-class handling stands out positively here as well. The immersion is nearly perfect with the AI, and it's a great preparation for online racing. Track limits seem to work well here too. I tried extending turn 1 as far as it was sometimes done in iRacing, but that immediately triggers a warning and also a penalty if you exceed it. A more realistic line seems appropriate here. Hitting the bus stop just right will make a huge difference in lap times. It's also easy to cut the corner and receive a warning there. I was also curious about the FPS performance. Daytona is a bit more challenging, especially in Sector 1, since many cars and objects are close together, being in vision due to the track layout, and have to be rendered accordingly. There are frame drops there as well, in my case from about 140 to just under 100 sometimes. It's not perfect, but nowhere near as bad as in iRacing. In my personal opinion, having driven both tracks, Daytona and Laguna Seca, for many years in all kinds of sims, these are the best versions so far in terms of feel. Before we dive into more changes in 1.4, here's a quick insert. As you can see, I recently switched from a triple monitor setup to a 32:9 setup, which has become my go-to. Among other things, this allows for these cool side-by-side comparisons of two super ultra-wide video recordings for our videos. Titan Army sent us their brand new device for testing. You might remember the C49S HC dual FHD monitor from earlier videos. Now they also have a 49-inch dual QHD monitor with a resolution of 5120 by 1440 that gives the well-known Samsung G9 a run for its money. The Titan Army C49C1S has an 1800R curvature, 1 millisecond response time, and most importantly 240 Hz refresh rate. HDR400 support is also included. The monitor makes a high quality impression both physically and in terms of image quality. Even though our office is quite bright in the spot where I mounted the monitor to our rig, everything is clearly visible and the colors are crisp. In many stores online, the Titan Army C49C1S is less expensive than the comparable 40-inch VA panel model from Samsung. In Germany, it's even available at Markt, currently for 599 euros. By the way, a VESA adapter for mounting the monitor on a sim rig is also included, obviously. What's still not quite ideal is the placement of the menu buttons in the center down there, since we're trying to position the screen directly above the wheelbase, but generally speaking you won't need to use them after setting up the basic settings, so it's not a deal breaker. Quite the opposite. This device is definitely worth checking out and new worthy alternative to established model in this 49-inch super ultra wide range. Yeah, links to various stores are listed below in the video description, some of which even offer discounts. Be sure to check them out. Before we talk about all the online changes, let's take a quick look at one of the highlights from our intro today, the changes to the Le Mans track. This is actually a free update for everyone. The atmosphere around the track feels even more intense. Driving through it really gives you that event vibe. If you knew the old track well and have time to look around a bit, you'll notice lots of new details. One very minor drawback for me when you start events in 2025 and previous seasons, it seems like they're also using the 2026 track. I would have thought that at least in single-player mode you'd be able to use the old versions as well. But the track with the new details just completely replaces Le Mans in the game, it seems. And there were also some minor fixes at Monza, Portimao and Silverstone. If you want to squeeze more FPS out of LMU, the new FSR upscaling option might be worth checking out. It's the FSR 1.0 from the Stone Age, but it's better than nothing. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to benchmark it thoroughly, but with my RTX 4080 Super, I added an estimated 10 to 20 FPS on average, so yes, even though FSR is an AMD tech, your Nvidia cards can use it too. Unfortunately, I ran into a bug in our preview version. After switching back from FSR to bilinear upscaling, all anti-aliasing was seemingly disabled and I had very jagged edges everywhere. I've already forwarded the feedback to Studio 397. If there's an update, I'll pin a comment below. Since then, I've enabled FSR. This should also be of interest to the VR users. Version 1.4 now introduces native OpenXR support, including VR FOV resolution scaling. Yeah, feel free to let me know if you'd like us to do another update on VR in LMU. I'll pass that along to our experts. Major changes are coming to the entire online and multiplayer experience. With Race OS, Studio 397 is now launching its own proprietary technology, which replaces the previous third-party integration. It's a new engine that connects race control to the game kinda, affecting areas such as rankings, profiles, teams, bans, and much more. In addition, the entire network protocol is being switched from TCP to RUDP. Later today, we'll be participating in a multiplayer preview livestream. You should already be able to see it now on the channel, and I'd love to see you in the chat later. Then we'll see if these changes are already having a noticeable impact on door-to-door racing. Protests and Live Steward have also been completely overhauled and are now available directly in the replay. But remember, outside of the online championships, you can only report intentional wrecks. Race Control Pro and Pro Plus members now have access to more practice servers, and originally only this user group was supposed to receive a new Joker system. However, following some backlash last week and to avoid creating a two-tier society online, everyone will now receive it. We've all been there. FFB failure, internet outages, there are plenty of ways for things to go wrong when racing online. Monza T1 alone is a gamble every time, with the risk of ruining your driver and safety ratings. To help mitigate these frustrating moments, Studio 397 came up with these jokers. It takes 10 races to earn your first joker, and you have a maximum of 3 at a time. Many are now worried that some players will use these jokers to take extra risks or pay less attention to clean racing because they have a joker. Personally, I don't think this will change online racing in LMU all that much. It actually makes more sense to save these jokers for the situations mentioned, but of course you never know how individual users might exploit something like this. I think time will tell. I don't think the feature was necessary, but I've also seen a lot of people online who like it. It's kind of a 50-50 thing. What do you think? The fact that this isn't behind the membership paywall was maybe a good move and an important response to community feedback. I also don't want to leave out the most important quality of life changes. The pending 2026 hypercar updates for Cadillac and Alpine are now available. Pit lane behavior and the associated penalties have undergone a few changes. And there is a bigger update regarding the brake system. Brake disc surface and core temperature are now measured separately, which should make braking and the feel of the pedal more consistent. In my first few races, I haven't noticed any drastic differences in practice yet, so I can't really say much about it with any certainty. More testing is needed. By the way, some of the car's default setups, as well as some of Coach Dave's setups, have also been revised. As always, you can find the full patch notes on our website in the article on overtake.gg. There are also a few BOP adjustments coming for the various cars that I don't have access to yet. We'll list those there as well. In conclusion, I can say that update 1.4 and the new tracks enhance the quality and playability of Le Mans Ultimate for me, primarily because I really like the both tracks and I prefer them significantly more than some of the existing ones such as Qatar or Kota. I think that track add-ons shouldn't cost more in the future than what Studio 397 is charging now. This is of course open to debate, but I doubt the community would want LMU to turn into iRacing 2.0. The focus on the endurance and sports car racing, the great netcode and the fair prices are what have made LMU so successful, next to the fact that it feels great, of course. If it gets too expensive, I am afraid that it'll shut down the door on new players. We recently spoke with Stephen Hood about many other topics, including career mode and consoles. Be sure to check that out. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.